And welcome everybody. I'm Douglas Calvin, and today we're in the kitchen. We're going to be looking at a new series that's going to be posted on douglascalvin.com. Again, I'm Douglas Calvin, and we're going to be looking at home tips. Well, these are not to give you the exact thing that we're doing, but we're going to try and use these to develop our time excellence skills. We're going to be looking at breakfast, and this episode's called the Breakfast Power Smoothie. It's episode 1 in the Home Tips series, and welcome. We're going to have a little bit of fun today looking at these tips. What is your workday breakfast time like? Is it a challenge? Is it something that is nice and quiet, or is it possibly a little bit chaotic? Well, I can remember times of both. More often than not, though, breakfast is a time of rushing. So today we're going to look at that, and we're going to look at the breakfast challenge and what we might do about it. So how is it at your house? Is it rushed? I mean, that's a big question mark. Many of you would say yes. I mean, we're starting our day. We're really getting up. Some of us have kids. We're trying to fix breakfast. We're trying to get ready. And it's one of those things that either gets skipped or squeezed. Are there unexpected things happen? Oh, where's your homework, Susie? What did I do with my keys? Where are we at today? What have I got to do today? Oh, I forgot. I better take in this paperwork. I've got a meeting today. We might need something that's quick, yet healthy. How many times did you grab for that sugar-filled bowl of cereal and you really didn't have something that you said, I'm gonna do a lot better with this. I'm gonna feel better at the end of the day with this. And so we always need something that's gonna get us through the day. Is it gonna make everyone happy? Or oh no, I want this, I want that, the family, your friends, whoever you're having breakfast with. And I know I've got like 5 cats. So I know that the cats won't be happy with what we're talking about today, but cats is another subject. Making breakfast for them is a different subject, but we really try to make everyone happy. And if we try and make multiple things, it only adds more time and aggravation. And cleanup is always a big one. Do we just throw them in the sink and end up coming back later? Well, these are questions that we really would like to solve, and that's what our subject is today. And so we're going to be looking at the Breakfast Power Smoothie. We're going to be looking at what we have found to be something that's a good example of maybe what can be done. And we've adopted a smoothie for quite a few of the mornings. And my wife said this morning, I get up looking forward to breakfast. I look forward to this power smoothie, we're calling it. And there's a reason we call it a power smoothie. It is thick. You can tell by the photo possibly. It is, you can see the bubbles on top. It is as thick as you want to make it. It is cold. Now, it doesn't have to be cold, and there's sometimes that you don't want it to be too cold. It is chocolatey. If you like chocolate, it's in there. It's quick. There's no cooking time. We don't have to cook it. It's kind of like cereal, only it's better. It's got lots of things. It's very quick preparation. And I would argue it's healthy. Now, I'm not an expert in health, but we'll give you some resources in this video, and you can decide for yourself if it might be right for you. But we found it's pretty good. So what's the overall view? Well, it's got 8 ingredients. 8 ingredients, and I'm going to show you how to get that recipe. I don't have time right now to go through the full recipe, but there's a picture of the ingredients. There's some great stuff in there. They're all healthy, and If they're not, then you can substitute something else. And they're very flexible. You can make people happy with it. The recipe, I'm going to tell you later where to get the recipe, because it's later on in this presentation that is going to waste our time right now. We want to stay on task and actually take these ingredients and make them into something. And that's how many it is. It sits right on this counter I'm sitting at now, and that's what the ingredient set is. Real simple steps. Again, we've got the recipes and the instructions later, but we prepare it and then we blend it. So you can see that it goes all into a blender right here. It goes into a blender. So we measure things out. So all the utensils are things like measuring cups, spoons, and a knife. And I think the knife is used to cut open an avocado. We put an avocado in ours, and a variety of other things. And then we go to a blender, and 15 to 20 seconds later, we have got a blended smoothie that is unbelievably awesome. It's good. And we're going to talk about blenders later. We're going to talk about processing and what you can do to save yourself your time and your blender. We found the hard way that if you make a thick smoothie, it tends to get pretty tough on a blender at times. Maybe you've got one that can handle it, but we want to make sure that we don't make one too thick that overpowers your blender. If we follow those instructions, there's what we get. We get the power smoothie. Again, that's a pretty large glass of smoothie, and we drink that much in a day. Kids would take probably about half of that amount. So it's powerful, it's good, and it lasts the whole day. It lasts. How do we save time in this? Well, first off, we set up for time success. We're in the kitchen right now. This is where we make the smoothie. We're going to be looking at the layout later, but we make it right where I'm sitting. Right here is where we make it, and if you see, the blender is where I'm pointing my finger, right in the background, and that's got the smaller container in it, the smaller one that fits underneath the cabinet. We've got a bigger one, the 64 ounce, that could double the recipe again. So a lot of flexibility there to go forward with. All right, this is our layout, and let's just talk about how we can save time. Now, your kitchen's going to be laid out differently than this one. I understand it. I got it. But by walking through what's important, we can talk about how we might start thinking about time and how we might start thinking about breakfast. What do you think about breakfast? Is breakfast, are you a chef and you say, well, breakfast is where I make my statement. I want to take some time and make the best breakfast in the world. Well, if that's so, then maybe this recipe and this discussion is not for you. But if you're someone like me that says, breakfast is kind of one of those must-do tasks, it sets up our day right, I want to spend the least amount of time on breakfast preparation and the most amount of time on other things. And so that's kind of the conversation today. And that's why we're going to look at what it takes to become more efficient with our breakfast. So as we said, our ingredients end up on a counter, and I'm going to put them right here. The ingredients that you saw a picture of go here. Now, where are those ingredients located? Well, many of them are in a refrigerator, right here, inside the refrigerator. There used to be some in the pantry, so I'm going to put an X there. Some of you may have a pantry. We get our glasses up here and out of this counter. Silverware is right here. And that's pretty much it. So we can get all of our ingredients. Now, the way that we tend to do it is pick up out of the refrigerator and put them on the counter. Go get from the pantry, if there is some. And as I said, my wife improved it. She took things that were in the pantry and moved them permanently in smaller containers inside the refrigerator. And so I put an X here. We don't have to do this anymore. And then the glasses and silverware are together. and we get those. Now this is a pretty good triangle, so this is probably only maybe 5, 6, 7 feet here to there. We make the ingredients, put it in the mixing, put a little handle on that mixer, put it in the mixing container, and then it goes right over to the blender, which is permanently stored on the counter. And as we said, if you take that thought that we just demonstrated, if you look at that thought and look at our kitchen, right here is the blender, and right in front of me is where we do our mixing. And the glasses are right, see if I can get this right there. Glasses are stored there. So it's pretty tight, but maybe not perfect, because we're going to talk about some improvements we could make. So very quick steps. We go over there, blend it, and everything then can go in the sink. We pour it in the glasses, and we're ready to go at that point. We're ready to clean up. So pretty quick, pretty easy, and cleanup is good because we can rinse out in the sink. Things that can't be washed in the dishwasher sit right here on a pad and dry, and most things can just go right in the dishwasher here. So that's kind of how we make the smoothie, and it's a process that really gives us a quick breakfast. Now, what are some improvements we might think about? And this is what these videos are about. They're not about how I do something. It's about giving you ideas on how we might improve. Well, if we had our items again in the pantry, in the glasses and silverware, we could consider a small caddy, such as if you go to douglascalvin.com/go/caddy, you will find an example of a nice heavy-duty small handheld caddy that we could actually make a little route out of it and make one quick swoop. So if we stored the caddy over here in the cookware area, if that caddy was here, we could pick up the things here, pick up the things here, pick up the things here, and come here, and then pull them out and put back the ones that are going to have to be returned, and then we would make the same loop to return them. And so that's one of the improvements, is to do a nice quick route. If your kitchen is fairly large, spacious, or things are spread out and there's nothing else you can do to locate it closer, that might be an idea. Second thing is this blender up here. If you go to douglascalvin.com/go/blender, it shows some what I'll call blenders that can take the heat. These are like 2 horsepower blenders. And the point is, this is really thick. So we have one we have another location up in the country, and we've got a backup blender there. And the backup blender is what we've used out there, but when we made these, it's probably a cheaper blender. We started smelling like an electric burning smell. So we backed off the thickness a little bit because we were taking this cheap blender that wasn't made for heavy duty work there. So I want to caution you, if you don't maybe need the blender, but you might want to up the liquid ingredients just a little bit and not make it like a thick shake. That would be a recommendation. Or Christmas, birthdays, you can think about getting the blender for life. And these are, if you want to see those, go to our affiliate, douglascalvin.com/go/blender. And the last thing you might want to optimize is the recipe itself. Now, we have changed the recipe, and I'm going to be giving you our recipe online. But if you want to see where the original was, it was in Against All Grain book. So if you go to douglascalvin.com/go/against-all-grain, you will find the book that we used to start this, and it's a great book. We like it, but it's got the original smoothie recipe, which probably everybody will think about changing and improving. So those are some improvements. Number 1, use a caddy. Number 2, a blender can be used for many things, and if you're going to be doing this a lot, I might encourage you to either buy a used one or a new blender that can take it. And I've got my recommendations in the recipe and also online if you go to where we told you. And then the book if you want to be real creative and make your own. Okay. I think that's it on that. All right. So we've learned that if we put our ingredients very close, it saves time. So the pantry and cabinets are close. If we put our equipment close, our knives, our measuring spoons, within reach, that's a principle that saves time in everything we do, and it's a good demonstration on this today. The results we got, well, it takes us 5 minutes to make these smoothies. And I think that's pretty good. 5 minutes is all it takes to get a smoothie. And you know what? That can either do 4 adults or 2 adults and 4 children. It makes 64 ounce. Now, the blender we're using is 32 ounce because there's 2 of us right now in the house that we make breakfast for. But it comes with, if you buy it, the larger 64 ouncer, so we could make enough for 4 adults. And this is a nice large helping in that 64 ounce or a bunch of kids. It's a flexible recipe. It can be customized for different fruits. It's got bananas in it, and if you don't want quite as much sugar, what I understand is if you use berries, that's lower in sugar. So your strawberries, your raspberries, blueberries, that type thing might be an option. We use almond milk, but dairy milk is an option, and we actually use a different type of almond milk, a flavored almond milk. That'll be in the recipe. You can make it very cold, but you can't drink it real fast. It is cold, and if you get a shake and drink it real fast, it's a little bit difficult to drink. So if you're in a rush, you might want to back off the cool ingredients just a little bit and not make it quite as cold so you can slug it down quicker. The rule is everyone cleans up their own glass. They rinse it, put it in the dishwasher. If you don't have a dishwasher, you would set up at the sink and rinse it and put it in. But don't leave a mess for later. That's just a good principle in our time excellence to always clean up and not leave a mess till later if possible. This is portable. This is what I like about it. Once you get the glass in your hand, you can go check your emails. You can go be fixing your hair. You can go talking to the kids. You can read the newspaper if anybody still reads newspapers. I don't know if there is anybody like that. You can look at the online news. You can be watching TV to catch the weather or the traffic. So it's very portable. You don't have to be sitting down and like a bowl of cereal, you have to be sitting down. This thing is on the run, really helps us to get out the door in the morning. And I'm telling you, this thing is energy all morning. For us, you'll have to try it for yourself. But we don't get hungry. A lot of smoothies, they've got a lot of ice and a lot of just sugar in it. So we really enjoy it because it doesn't let you down. It just doesn't. All right, so what's the impact that we can say that we've got? Well, it allows minimal time for a mandatory task. And that's, again, if you're not a chef. You have to do it. And you might as well do it well. It is quick. It is healthy. Those two things can go together. If we think things out and we think through the locations for our ingredients and the processing, make sure to finish it completely. We just talked about that. Make sure to finish it, clean it up, get it back to so when you come back tonight or it's not, you're not staring at it all day. Keep a clean sink, keep an area that's presentable. And most important to me is enjoy just a healthy breakfast. Enjoy something that is really healthy, and cats won't like it, babies won't like it, they can't eat. But most people, I can remember my mom fixing one thing for me and another thing for another kid, trying to keep everybody happy. Well, this has got the best chance of everybody being happy, everybody actually liking this recipe. So the Power Smoothie helps us to use our time the best way that we can. It helps us to offload a task and minimize the time that is, quote unquote, mandatory. We have to do it. Mandatory. And that frees up time to do other things and get to the tasks of the day that are more important. So we want to use our time the best way that we can. Now, if you want to get the free time-saving smoothie recipe, go to douglascalvin.com/go/free things. FREETHINGS. That will be one way to get to it. The other way, you can text just free things, text it to the number 44222. And that's in the US only, otherwise you go to the other. And that's in our member site that you just get a log on. It's free, but it'll take you to my.douglascalvin.com. And that's where our valuable content is kept, and that's where the people we partner with can go. It's free. All it takes is a log on, and you're in there. So take a few moments to get that, get the instructions, and get that. So what have we learned? We've learned how to make that power smoothie, but more importantly, we've learned how to save time. We've learned that no matter what our process is, always think about improvements, such as that caddy. We're thinking about the type of equipment we're using. Is it the right equipment for the task? And we're thinking about improvements even in the recipe and the content. So, Against All Grain has a lot of recipes. It's a recipe book that we really enjoy. But this recipe came out of that. That's the original recipe, and ours has been fairly heavily modified for our tastes. But that's the fun of it. All right, how can you get a hold of us? Well, visit us at douglascalvin.com. That's simple enough. We do have free training registration. We have webinars that does training on the 7 steps to time excellence. And if you want to register for that, just go to douglascalvin.com/webinar. It'll take you right there. We already talked about how to get free access. And if you receive value, you can help other people get this content. You can help them by simply promoting our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Just go to our site, douglascalvin.com. On the top right is the links. You just click it. All it does is link you to those sites. So if you comment, if you share, if you retweet, if you friend us, if you thumbs us, if you click, if you watch a video, all of this activity helps get it out on news feeds and get it out in the community. That's a huge help. And then our affiliate partners, we talked about those, and if you go to our affiliate partners and buy anything, a small percent comes our way, and that helps fund this free content that we're putting online. So that's at douglascalvin.com/recommend. And that's how you can help be part of it with us. Time excellence, maximizing your time to make a difference. That's what it's all about, and that's what we really focus on, and we want to help everyone to get a little better life as far as their time goes. So I appreciate you watching. Watch for the next videos coming out. I'm Douglas Calvin. Thanks for watching. See you next time.